the Go Berserk with Email podcast with Navy nuclear engineer turned email software developer, Troy Broussard. So calm.
I'm pissed off, but I'm telling this because I am teaching you how to think differently and how to test differently.
So patient.
And Ben, that's put $500,000 into this company too, is being told that nobody can find the goddamn bug.
So charitable.
I'm going to start paying bounties every time somebody finds a bug. We're going to deduct $10 that week.
So trusting.
Do not assume that anything works. Assume that nothing works.
And so sweet, it makes sugar taste just like salt.
I want to play into the sexiness of marketing automation, but I also want to slap the complexity of it.
The Go Berserk with Email podcast begins now.
Welcome back to another edition of Go Berserk with Email show. I am stoked that you guys are here. And I talked Troy into telling us a little story of how his own software fooled him, caught him with his hands in the cookie jar. And I thought it was interesting. And maybe, Troy, you want to share that with us?
Yeah, it felt like one of those episodes out of, one of those scenes out of Dumb and Dumber where he's slapping himself or something, right? I was trying to do something and my software was just slapping me in the face. And lo and behold, it was my own slap that I had created. So
how long did it take you to figure out that it was your own hand slapping you?
It took me a minute, and that's actually was a bug. So here's what happened. I was just kind of cleaning up my list, and I had a bunch of, we all do this. We have contacts that either don't confirm the double confirmation or things to that nature. Maybe they've been suppressed, or maybe they're flagged as a bot or something. And so we just go through and periodically do a little house cleaning and delete some of those contacts. And I went through and was doing that, and everything was going fine. And then all of a sudden, I had like 10 on the screen, and I selected all 10. I went to delete, and only 7 of them were deleted, and 3 of them wouldn't delete. Now, to me, this is a bug. And actually, it is, right? It was an interface bug, but not a functionality bug. I thought I had found a functionality bug that the system was screwing up and not deleting some contacts that it was supposed to delete. But the reality is that I had created a feature that I have never seen on any other platform. And, I think this really goes back to how Berserker Mail really is for marketers by marketers, right? This is something that is born out of my experience as a consultant, as a specialist in marketing automation for a couple of decades. It's born out of the experience of Ben and all of his email experience over the last few decades. And it all comes together into this product, right? And this was a feature that I had wished I had had for years. So let me tell you kind of how this came about, and then I'll get into the specifics. So, for years I did consulting for all kinds of 7, 8, and even some 9-figure companies on their marketing automation, how to set up their campaigns, and a lot of it was training their staff. And most of these companies at this size, they're not writing their own email. They've got somebody on staff doing it. They've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 copywriters writing copy. And then they've got somebody in-house that's doing the marketing automation, that's doing the campaigns, that's putting all the technical stuff together, right? So you have the copy side of things, and then you have the technical side of things. Now, as solo entrepreneurs, we got to wear all those hats, right? We got to do it all. But in large organizations, they split that up. And so what ends up happening is that over time, you end up having people come and go. Maybe they didn't get trained as well. Maybe it wasn't in the budget this time around for training. So they just got some hand-me-down training from the person that came before them. And, you end up getting some people in the positions screwing up. And quite frankly, like this was like job security for me as a consultant. I mean, good God, I had some places that brought me back to train their staff 3 different times, right? Because they just kept cycling through. It's crazy, Jonathan. I know you're laughing looking at this, but I mean, it's true. Like I went to some organizations multiple times. Hell, I got paid to migrate them off of an email service and then to migrate them back onto the same service that they were on. And then 3 years later, they finally stuck the nut and take me off of this again. Right. So that's the life of a consultant. You get paid to consult, you get paid to implement, and you just do what you do. Well, one of the things that frequently just bit a lot of these people in the hindquarters is that they would be deleting stuff they shouldn't be deleting. Now, clearly there's automations and things like that, and that's a whole different kind of separate conversation. But one of the most important things is deleting the contact itself. You know, the contact record that has, especially with a CRM where you've got all of your tag history and all of your purchase history and all of the robust data that you have associated with this contact, it's just too easy to delete that. And when you have too many people involved, too many, cooks in the kitchen messing with stuff all the time, and outsourcers coming in and short-term project workers that are only here for a month doing stuff, you don't know what the hell they're going to screw up, right? And trust me, I've seen everything screwed up 6 times over from hell to Sunday and back. And so the point is, like, how do we prevent that? And I created this unique concept that I'm sure if any of the other email marketing platforms are following here with Berserker Mail, they'll probably rush to copy us on this. But here at First Here, we innovated this. Nobody has ever done this. I've never seen another platform that does this. But we have this concept called protective tags. And when you assign a tag as being a protection-based tag, then what it means is that a contact that has that tag cannot be deleted. And what this prevents is the accidental deletion of data that you really didn't want to delete, that perhaps somebody didn't know about, they didn't know they were deleting a customer record or something to that extent. And so I use these pretty robustly, and anytime somebody buys something from me, they're tagged as a customer, and that customer tag is a protected tag, right? So anybody that has that customer tag cannot be purged from the system. I can't have some person working overseas for me on a contract accidentally go in there and delete that contact. It's protected, and the system prevents you from deleting it. The only way to delete that contact is then to go in and manually remove that protection tag, and then you're able to delete it. So in a roundabout sort of way, I did kind of catch my hand in the cookie jar, because I was trying to delete some contacts, and 3 of those contacts were customer contacts that had opted out, were no longer current customers, but you still need to keep that customer data for, your long-term history. If somebody comes back, if they request information, whatever, you've got to have that record that you sold them. You can't just go deleting your purchase history. And so what I discovered was that it wasn't the bug. It was actually a feature I had invented, but there was a bug, and the bug was that it wasn't showing a confirmation pop-up, right? It was supposed to have a pop-up that says 3 of the contacts you've selected are protected. Now, of course, now we're fixing that, and it's being rectified. But it was really kind of a fun moment for a minute, because here I am, kind of outfoxing myself as the owner and the creator of the platform. And yes, I'm falling on the sword and telling you all of this, because the reason is I want you to realize that sometimes we are our own worst enemy, and sometimes what you most need protected from is your own self. And having a system that uses best practices and protection mechanisms to prevent you from screwing things up, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
Where else would you use those protected? I get the customers. That makes a lot of sense. Is there any other place that we should at least consider using those, or would consider using those?
I think it depends on your tagging structure and what kind of philosophy or methodology you use for tagging. I always have a generic customer tag, and then I have a specific customer tag. And so what I mean by that is that everybody that buys anything is a customer, but someone that buys my Memoirs of Mastery, for example, is tagged as not only a customer, but also a Memoirs as Mastery customer. And so that way they have both tags, and then I can selectively search and filter how I want. So now when you extrapolate that over having, dozens and dozens of products like I have over the years, I can now search for any of those products, the customers of any of those. And so, for example, Ben Settle just ran a promotion not too long ago for me for my Automation Magic training. And in that promotion, we included a bonus of providing a couple of live calls for anybody that bought the product. Well, because I have those product tags tagged for all of the buyers of that, I was able to just filter out all of the buyers of Automation Magic and quickly email them and notify them. And I did it kind of fun too. And this is where some of these historic tags really work over time, is that I've sold this course many, many times now. And so I've got a lot of buyers of it over the years. And so what I did is when I ran the bonus, I ran it to all of the buyers and re-engaged my previous buyers as well, and opened up the live calls to them, right? And that way, it's just a way of re-engaging your audience, etc. So my philosophy with customer tagging is that I always tag at two levels. I tag at the top level of just a generic customer, and then I tag at the individual product level that they're a customer of. And that gives me the ability to slice and dice the data in any direction I need. But outside of customer tags, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head here. I'm in post-flu recovery mode, so a little brain fog. But I think that's the most poignant one that I can think of, because any other type of protection, they're probably also a customer. And so if you're tagging people properly with your customer tags, then this is the easiest way to do it. But you might have, for example, some really important contacts that you're nurturing a relationship with. Let's say that if you do a lot of events, you go to a lot of events, attend a lot of events, speak at a lot of events, you may acquire some really high influential connections that they're not a customer, but you're still nurturing them, and you don't want to delete that history. And you may want to tag them as a VIP JV opportunity tag or something like that, right? So that's another potential possibility. But the reality is there's no limits on what you could do there. You can use them however you want. Make sure and tag your mom so that you don't delete your mom.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Too good, man. So then we have an exclusive here, right? Nobody ever has heard of that feature or rolled out that feature, and now we can see it in the featureitis list of all the others coming soon.
Yeah, well, I hope not. Part of security is obscurity. And as we're a young company, not a lot of companies are looking to pilfer our ideas. But I think that this is one that is very powerful. It's something that I innovated since probably the first few months of the release. It's been in the product, and it's very, very powerful. But it's just an example of how we focus Berserker Mail on the usage of it. Every feature that we put into the product is a feature that has been proven in the industry as a necessity, as a need. It's actually solving a problem. We don't do the featureitis, make it cute and pretty and all the other stupid little stuff that requires 14 more clicks for you to be able to send your email. We don't do any of that frilly stuff. But the things that are innovative and protective and security based and help you become a better marketer and help protect your business, because we use it in our businesses, you can be assured that we're going to help add it into your business as well.
Well, look, as we're wrapping up, I want to put this in formally to you, that the pop-up should say, this is for your own good, Daddy Troy, or something like that. So, just think about it.
Doing it for your own good. You've been slapped. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is a wrap for another Go Berserk with the Email Show. We will be back in your earbuds next time.
To get a free Berserker Mail test drive with no credit card required, go to startmytestdrive.com. From there, you can play around inside the platform without pressure. Load up emails and campaigns to see how simple the interface is, and get comfy with everything before deciding to join. That's startmytestdrive.com.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.